We all know that the CBC receives more than $1 billion per year in taxpayer welfare to create all their whiz-bang content. But get a load of this, the CBC is now partnering with a streaming service that apparently doesn't work. You have to wonder if the folks who head up CBC Sports have ever heard of this somewhat obscure pigskin circuit called the National Football League. Because if they were indeed aware of the NFL, or more specifically the NFL's broadcast dealings in Canada, the CBC would have never have agreed to partner with an on-demand streaming service called D.A.Z.N. Now apparently D.A.Z.N is pronounced D.A.Z.N, kind of like how someone from Chicago would say the Bears, but unlike a real Bruin on the prowl, D.A.Z.N is one dog that don't hunt. Here's the skinny. The CBC is using D.A.Z.N to stream coverage of the Commonwealth Games that kicked off on April 4th. Yeah, that's right, the Commonwealth Games, otherwise known as a B-list sports tourney for those who just couldn't get enough of the pan-scam games. In any event, last season the NFL entered into a partnership with D.A.Z.N for NFL games being broadcast in Canada. Just one hitch. D.A.Z.N was to online streaming what the Hindenburg was to air transportation. Yeah, it was that big of a disaster. Indeed, last month, John Kirk of the Toronto Sun penned a fascinating autopsy regarding this dead-on-arrival streaming service. The saga began last July when D.A.Z.N proudly announced it had purchased exclusive rights through 2021 to provide Canadians with live video feeds of all NFL games via web-connected digital devices such as smart TVs, tablets, smartphones, and game consoles. Suddenly, old-school cable and satellite providers were on the outside looking in, as they wouldn't be able to reacquire NFL broadcast rights in Canada until 2022 at the earliest. But as Kirk notes, the NFL soon realized it had a rancid lemon on its hands. Quote, scores of Canadian purchasers of D.A.Z.N immediately encountered grating problems with the service. For instance, some games weren't available from the start. Some devices couldn't connect to the service at all. And action on D.A.Z.N feeds often was delayed more than a minute, ruining the experience for many who like to watch games in concert with social media. The company had promised last summer it was ready for any technological hurdles that might arise in bringing the streaming service to Canada. That proved grossly inaccurate, end quote. Indeed, the D.A.Z.N experience was such a fiasco that an NFL VP actually issued a public apology to the league's Canadian fans, and by mid-October, after weeks of ineptitude, the NFL abruptly ended its exclusivity deal with D.A.Z.N, welcoming back cable and satellite providers so that its games could be properly telecast. What a concept. But surely the people at CBC Sports knew about these problems. They certainly should have known about them. So on the heels of the NFL disaster, why in the world would CBC ever get into an arrangement with D.A.Z.N? Gee, maybe CBC just likes to reward failure. Or maybe the CBC doesn't care if D.A.Z.N flops yet again. After all, why would the broadcast bureaucrats who run the CBC be concerned with Canadians enduring a crappy broadcasting experience? Isn't that just another day at the office? Oh well, there's at least one saving grace. Unlike the NFL, nobody in Canada really gives a rodent's rectum about the Commonwealth Games. So if D.A.Z.N continues to crap out this time around, no one's likely to even notice. For the Rebel.media, I'm David the Menzoid Menzies. Hey folks, you may have heard the Rebel has a brand new app. Please download that app and take the Rebel with you wherever you go.